Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of Foul Territory. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Well, we're 2 weeks into the 2013 season, and let me tell you, there's a lot of interesting things going on. The season may be young, but so far we've had our fair share of excitement. We've seen a couple upsets, some surprising debuts by new teams, and really it looks like every team is locked in and ready to play. You know, as far as my own team goes, the Mud Hens have had a pretty interesting start to the season. 3 out of our 4 games so far have been one-run ball games, and the 4th game went into extras. So, you know, we've been seeing good baseball week in, week out, and I think that's a great sign. But to talk about the Bronx-Manhattan division, I'd like to welcome on my guest for this week's podcast, Mike Darling, manager of the New York Beers. Mike, how's it going?
Hey, Mike, I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. You know, I'm glad you came on. Obviously, Mike Darling, one of the longtime NYCMBL managers here. You guys had a pretty good opening weekend, and a lot of that is because of your pitching staff. And I know that you guys made some big pickups in the offseason, so can you tell me a little bit about you know, what those guys brought to the table for you in week one?
Yeah, definitely. We had some big pickups, basically because we had some big shoes to fill. That's for lack of a better term.
Obviously referring to for Taylor and Mike Casely, who have joined the New York Rainmakers. Exactly,
yes, and you know, Antonio brought them aboard last year to the Beers, so I had no problem with them going with him to the Rainmakers. That made perfect sense. However, I did miss having those guys as a nice 1-2 punch. So you know, me and Pete tried our best to not to downgrade in the pitching department, and I think that we succeeded. You know, we got Ryan Smith, who is definitely going to be one of the top pitchers in the conference.
No, I didn't see his stat line up there, but you know, what was he able to do for you guys in the?
Well, he had he was involved in every out. He pitched 5 innings, which was pretty good considering it was the first weekend. We conditioned him pretty well, got a couple bullpen sessions, some spring training games. So he pitched 5 innings and had 13 strikeouts.
Not too bad.
And he was also involved in every single out of all those 5 innings, which I thought was kind of funny. The few balls that were put in play, he was involved in the plays. And he also had 2 hits in the game. So
he kind of did it all for you guys.
Yeah, game 1 was definitely all about Ryan, and game 2 was more of a team effort.
Now,
and
the guys that you picked up also that through game 2, I think, was Colin Britton and Will Weidig.
Yes, yeah, Colin and Will. Colin actually finished up game 1, and luckily we had a pretty short break between the games, so he was able to continue on and start game 2. And yeah, the 2 of them did an excellent job as well. Will gave up a couple runs, but he had a ton of strikeouts as well. I think all of his outs were strikeouts, and he had 9 in 3 innings. And Colin pitched very well. He's the first lefty we've had in a long time.
So, you know, now, you know, getting back to kind of, you know, revamping that pitching staff after those big losses, you know, when did those guys come aboard? How did they find out about you guys? How did you go about kind of courting them to become New York Beers?
But basically, you know, we knew that we needed to get some good pitchers. So we knew that we needed to get some new pitchers to replace Taylor and Casely. And so they came from, what's his name? Ryan came from Dartmouth and had a outstanding college career there. And, we knew that he would fit in very well to probably replace Taylor.
Now, I mean, you know, what was the timeline like in terms of, you know, when these guys said, okay, you know, we're going to come play for your team, and how long did you kind of have to get them ready for the you know, the 2013 season?
We were in talks with them pretty early. One good thing about Antonio and the Rainmakers is that he did give us plenty of time to prepare, and Taylor and Mike Casely, you know, they all let me know right away, the decision that they were making, and I was totally fine with it. And so, yeah, we had them. I guess we had Ryan and Colin and all those guys signed up. I guess early March, and started with the bullpen sessions. And we only had 2 spring training games because 2 of them were snowed out, but I think it was enough.
Well, and especially early in the season, I mean, it seems like one of the trends was, nobody really had that guy who pitched 7 innings. Everyone kind of got, 4 or 5 innings. It gave a lot of people a chance to get their pitchers involved, their entire pitching staffs. But, in addition to the pitching staff, I mean, what did you think about the way your team came out and played in this first week of the season, getting a sweep over the A's?
Yeah, I was very very happy. I thought it went very well because the 3 things that you look at are pitching, offense, and defense. And in spring training, the only thing that I was a little bit concerned about was the defense. And from opening day, it was very good. I think there were only 2 errors on the day. Which was not bad considering it's the first week.
Now, I mean, just taking a step back from your team for a while, I know that last week Ron Darling made some predictions that didn't go over well with anyone. He predicted the two teams coming down from AAA to kind of be the front runners for the Bronx Manhattan division, and we saw in the first 2 weeks both those teams got knocked off. One by the reigning champions, the Giants, and then obviously returning Dan Trotta's Express. It's only been 1-2 weeks, but how do you feel about the parity that you're seeing in the Bronx Manhattan division this year?
I think that I think a lot of people agree that it's going to be very even. The teams that needed to step up did, and the teams that came down from AAA, I think they're going to be right on par with the better AA teams from last year. I think that it's going to be a really even playing field and should be a very exciting season in both divisions.
And one thing I wanted to ask you, because obviously you've kind of been around the block and you've been in this league for a long, long time. People are saying that now the league, throughout all the divisions, has more parity than ever. Do you attribute that to splitting it up into the different, single A, double A, or do you think it's also a case of kind of, like an arms race, managers trying to, see what's working for other teams and then adjusting their rosters accordingly?
I think that it's a little bit of both and also just a little bit of luck because you can never know, how every team is going to be before the year. So some of the placements might be a little off. And also the fact that there aren't really any unknown teams this year. There aren't any really new teams, I don't think, are there?
No, especially not in the Bronx Manhattan. I mean, I think the only real new team was kind of the Rainmakers on our end of things. But
that's right, and they were mostly made up of ex NYCMBL players. So it would you could still place. I mean, that they were going to be in the AA division. Mm-hmm. So I think the placement was pretty easy this year. But also, all the managers have been able to see the other teams and kind of have a feel for what they need to do. And I think this year they probably, made the moves that they had to. One of the newer teams from last year, the New York Pirates, made the jump from Manhattan Bronx to Brooklyn Queens. I think that was the right move. I know there was some debate over which team was going to move. And I think being the youngest team, that it was nice of them to kind of take that move. And I think that they'll fit in very well over there. So basically, I guess the two newest teams are the Pirates and the Rainmakers. And should be interesting with them.
We got a chance to see the Pirates firsthand last week. We actually wound up splitting a doubleheader with them, and I think
I saw that. Yeah, two 1-run games, if I remember.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think every manager likes to think that, their team is in the strongest division, kind of guys from Brooklyn, Queens saying, oh, Bronx, Manhattan, that's not as good, and vice versa. But, I mean, these guys came in. They were one of the top teams in Bronx, Manhattan last year, and I think they fit right in with the whole Brooklyn, Queens landscape. I mean, that's a team, you played them last year. They've got a lot of pitching, and I think that, obviously is one of the most important things. I think who were there for their top two guys last year? Was it
Terrence Vogenberger and probably Nick
Freeman, the tall right-hander?
Yeah, it looks like Jesus.
Yeah, we saw both those guys, and they picked up some other arms too. A kid, Bennett Pepping, from Sewickley, PA, and we got to face him as well. And they seemed, from my estimation, they're a team a lot like my team, the Mud Hens. I mean, they got, they get timely hits, but really it's all about pitching, defense, and playing fundamental baseball. And I really enjoyed playing them, and I kind of wish we got to see more Bronx Manhattan teams, just to kind of play against some new competition. But I definitely think that they're going to be a great addition, and the Rainmakers, I got to catch against the Storm, and obviously we talked a little bit before about Taylor being a great mound presence, and I think he shut down what might be the best lineup in the NYCMBL. I mean, he throws hard and he's a good pitcher, and obviously from that having him on your team last year.
Yeah, he's a smart pitcher, and has lots of different pitches, and he's good to have.
Anyway, seeing what you guys did in that first week, obviously it's a very long season, but have you guys kind of set any goals for yourself?
We're in the stage right now where we're kind of seeing what we have, and based on the first week, I like what we have, and I think a realistic goal would be to take the conference, and that's what we're going to be going for.
And who do you guys have coming up this week?
We're going to be playing the Titans in a single 9-inning game at Clemente.
So, I mean, I don't want you to divulge state secrets here, but something that I've asked a lot of the other managers, the 9-inning game is something that's new in terms of what managers have to prepare for this year. How do you envision, and just give me, loose estimations on how you think you're going to manage a pitching staff through a single 9-inning game?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about that before the season started, and I really don't think that many pitchers or many managers would want a single pitcher to try to go all 9, especially this early in the season. Mm-hmm. So, I definitely will be mixing it up, and handing it off to the next guy. And luckily, with some depth, you're able to do that.
All right, great. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck this week, and I know we're preparing for our own 9-inning game next week. So anyway, that was Mike Darling from the New York Beers, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah.
Again, that was Mike Darling of the New York Beers. The Beers will be taking on the Titans this week. The Titans being one of those drop downs from AAA. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I know that I'm happy that the season has finally started, and I'm looking forward to our own game against the Rainmakers this weekend. So until next time, guys, stay healthy, stay happy, and keep it between the lines.